Today I'm gonna show you how to create music with a sequencer. This is Cirklon 2, the device so famous that Aphex Twin himself dedicated a couple of his songs and an entire mini album to it. Cirklon is notoriously hard to buy because the current waiting lines for it are about 3 years now. It is very complex and feature-rich sequencer. The manual alone is almost 200 pages. We'll also need some sound sources. First of all, Access Virus. It's still one of the best hardware synths for the money. The bass, cheap German 303 clone, mine is modded for extra crunch. And the drums, a vintage Roland rack mount drum module with a dense expansion card for classic 909 sounds. So let's get started. I did a reset of my Cirklon, so I can show you the whole process from scratch. The first step is to create a new song. Cirklon can come up with a name automatically, but I prefer to enter my own. Let's go for faster tempo. Then I create a new instrument, the 3-3 bass. There's a nice built-in tuning feature. By default, it creates a P3 pattern, which is named after sequencer that came before Cirklon. It's just a step sequencer pattern type, but with tons of modulation. I adjust velocity. I randomly put some notes. Yeah, that works. And add some ties to taste. Pattern direction set to random. And now we save our first pattern. Let's add some delay. Delay is not synced to the MIDI clock, so I need to fix that in MIDI config. Yeah, that's better. And now I can just play with filter cutoff for a little while. It's hard to resist, I know. Nice. Now we need drums, I'm afraid. I create a new instrument, Roland R-8. MIDI channel 10 is standard for drum machines. This time I create CK pattern, which is simply like a piano roll. Here's our bass drum. Add some hi-hats by copying the first row. Name and save pattern. Kick and hats. And I create a few more drum patterns. I mute hats. It's going to be just a kick. I clear pattern. And add some cymbal ride. Done. Now I can start saving scenes. In the first scene there's only bass. Then I add kick. And hi-hats. Scene is just a combination of patterns. I turn on song mode to play scenes one after another. Now I need to adjust scene length to either 4 or 8 bars. Instead of manually saving each scene, I can turn on autosave function. Now we have finished the intro of our song. I recall the work scene so I can continue to work on my patterns. I want to create a rolling bass pattern. I'm going to loop only first 3 steps. You can create simple bass patterns with just a few notes. 1 octave up, 1 octave down. Rolling bass. Now I can add virus. It's unique in the way that it is able to play up to 16 parts at the same time. I create a one note pattern and set note length to almost the whole bar. To make life easier, I would use track values to change virus patches on Cirklon directly. I add bank and program changes parameters. Now let's find the patch. No. No. Oh, that's exactly what I need. You can save patch numbers to the scene. Sounds like virus now is out of sync, so give it MIDI clock. That's better. Now I use scene transpose. Oops, I've transposed our drums. It's pretty easy to fix. Now transpose works correctly. Let's add it to the pattern itself. I copy bars and adjust transpose values and make it play faster. Oh, nice. Now I save this pattern. Done. You can use skip flags to change arpeggio timing. Hear that? Nice. But I revert to saved version. Now I name our tracks. We have bass. We have drums. We have lead. What else do we need? We need chords. And freaky noises. Oh, hi Alex. Let's put drums on top with a track swap. Now I'm going to connect MIDI keyboard. I set soft through and record enable in first MIDI port. I add second virus. And now let's find a nice pad patch. Yeah, exactly. And I save patch to the scene as well. I create a new pattern and add aux macro for polyphony. Let's enter chord. Didn't work. I clear pattern and change record mode to poly. Now I try again. I set note to hold. Let's listen. I copy chord and transpose it 2 semitones down. You can preview notes. And change pattern time base so it plays 4 times slower. It's going to be our pad. Let's listen everything together. You can solo tracks. Pad sounds a bit too loud, so I can turn it down. Let's unsolo and listen again. It's better. Sometimes MIDI mixture is very convenient, especially in a live situation. You can save it as well. Now let's add a third virus track. and find something juicy. No. 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 Oh yes. I saved this patch. And now I can use step recording to enter this note. Let's listen. Perfect. How to play that note once in 2 bars. Set time base to 8, so pattern plays twice slower. But what if we want to also play another note once in 8 bars? Just watch. You would need to add accumulator mask gate that defeats note unless aux-D is less than, and add accumulator relative offset that add +1 every bar, and adjust aux-D limit value to 3 because we need 4 because it's 0 based, and we need 4 because we need 8 but pattern time base is 8, which is 2 times slower than 16. Okay, let's see. And it works. aux-D is 2, 3. It works. Easy. On Electron sequencer you would have just used trig conditions, but on Cirklon it's implemented way more complex than it needs to be. Now we adjust scene length and save a few more scenes. Bass. Main theme. Pad. Anvil. 8 scenes total. Now I mute everything except first virus track. I clear the pattern, adjusted length, add 1 long note. Here's the trick, we are going to learn MIDI CC of filter cutoff. And now I can modulate the filter. You can assign random values on the fly with sculpt button. Or even better, do it automatically. Let's clear the pattern. I add random mask for next aux. Auxes are processed in order, so we need to swap A and B. And hopefully it works. No change. Yes, because we need to activate steps on aux-B as well. Name and save. Now I can create another variation by using existing pattern, but with different sound patch. Yeah, just the next one. Let's save it. And make this scene shorter. I call it theme B. And now I need to get save few more scenes. Let's change everything back. Back to A. Drums again. This is going to be the climax of the song. Matte filter. And we now have 12 scenes. There's too many scenes to fit the screen, so let's change to the Pro view. Copy everything to the work scene. I need to create more drum patterns. But first, let's load a proper instrument definition for Roland from SD card. Hit replace. And now we have all MIDI controls set up, 2 pages of them. I open the pattern. Let's adjust velocity and try out all the classic drum sounds. Nice. Copy and double 3 times so we can have 8 bars. Turn on the bar loop and remove some sounds in the end. Let's hear that. Yes, perfect. And save the copy. Let's record the next ending on the fly with sculpt button. Nice. Hear how this little break sounds in the context. And save. And now I want to create a snare roll. I add 4 notes, adjust velocity slope, copy, change it a bit, copy and double the whole bar 3 times, and add a final roll to the last bar. Great. Next pattern. Copy and double as usual. Start with a crash. And add a little snare roll in the end. It gets boring after a while, right? Crash to snare. This pattern is going to be a little more interesting. Let's add a bunch of claves. And modulate them. That's pitch. I record this automation. And the next parameter, panning. I hope you're in headphones to hear that. Record. And save pattern. Finally, let's finish our arrangement and change drum patterns in existing scenes. To crash and snare roll, to kick break, to empty last bar, add a snare roll as a build-up before the matte filter, rename the scene, crash and snare roll, overwrite, add random claves, and save as a new scene. Done. Mute them, and here's our ending. The end, but not quite. Let's add 2 more patterns. This time I want to add some samples. I create a new instrument, computer. It's connected to Cirklon with USB. I've prepared 2 samples from one well-known video game.
Round 1.
I trigger note in the middle of the pattern, so there's a little pause, the break.
Round 1.
This is round 1. Next pattern is pretty much the same. Ha ha ha. And we are almost done. Let's save these scenes. And we need to move them to the right places. Before bass drop. And after snare roll. And one more thing. Let's add some swing. Endlich, und wir haben das Lied gemacht. Ausgezeichnet.